And 3, 2, we are live. Episode 5, Jack Nichols.
Let's go, dude. I haven't talked to you in like over a week now on the phone. Usually we talk a couple times during the week on the phone, but I think we both had busy weeks. So this is episode number 5 of the No One Told Me Hockey Podcast with myself, Jack, and my boy Fletcher over there on the other end. We're excited to be back. It's been over a week since we recorded one, but we're here now midday. First one midday too, I think. We usually do them at night.
Yeah,
Right?
I think this is the first midday.
Okay, so let's get this going. I think we got good energy today. So give me a little rundown on the weekend. Everything good with you?
Yeah, everything's going good. I was actually thinking about that earlier today, a little bit how we haven't talked a little bit, but I thought that may make the podcast better. Because sometimes we ruin some of our good stories talking earlier in the week.
We do. We just start talking way too much on the phone, and then half of our
the end of our
gone.
I was gonna say the end of our conversations usually end with, "Yeah, we should have recorded that." That would
right. Right. But we're here now. Let's get it going here. Let's go.
Yeah. So week has been kind of crazy and stemming from the crazy weather that we are having in New Hampshire right now.
Mm-hmm.
On Wednesday, I think the forecast started showing -20 for Friday, Saturday.
Brutal.
It was insane.
It was insane. So windy too.
Windy. So we'll get. I guess the story's going to come to that. So Friday came, and it wasn't that bad during the day. Like it was kind of like 6, 7, 8, 9 area. Mm-hmm. And then as I was leaving the rink on Friday night, it was like -8, like -9. And then in the middle of the night, I guess it peaked at like -27 or something, like something insane.
Yeah.
And only like an hour and a half north of me is Mount Washington.
Yeah.
-104.
I read -108.
Yeah, so it was the coldest weather, like I think
ever
recorded on planet Earth.
No, not planet Earth.
That's what the tweet that I read.
I think it was the U.S.
said planet Earth.
No. I think it's the U.S. I think it was
all I know. Okay, regardless, US. That's cold. It's really cold.
Oh, it's freezing. Do you think there was anyone up there?
No, they have a summit cam. I was checking the footage of the summit cam. It looked like something out of like a horror movie.
Oh, I bet. I can't even imagine like anything.
Instant cold. Instant,
right?
Like instant. Like it said frostbite in like under a minute.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, because the wind chill too. So the wind chill makes it 10 times worse. Like when I was when I used to live in Chicago and Milwaukee, like because they were both right off the Lake Michigan, so anything windy, it would just pick like the cold air right off the lake, and it would be so bitter cold. Like it would just bite at you so hard. It sucked. That is crazy.
Okay, I have an interesting thing about Chicago and the wind.
Okay.
I heard the other day that it's not called Chicago, the Windy City, right?
It is the Windy City, yeah, but I know what you're going to say.
It's not the Windy City after the wind,
I know,
right? It's the Windy City after like politics or something.
Right, that's what they say. They say like because a lot of the politicians in Chicago have always been like crooked, and this goes way back.
full of air.
Right,
yeah,
right. Yeah. So it goes way back, but then like at the same time, it is windy as hell there. So
yeah, so it's a good duo.
Good duo.
A little dry side of McDavid.
Right. And that wind is no fun there. That wind sucks.
Okay, so anyway, so it's really cold here, obviously, and Saturday morning comes around. We lost Friday night, so we're going into Saturday. It's time for a good day, turn around the weekend, and my car won't start.
Are you at your apartment building?
I'm at my apartment building, yes.
And you live pretty far from the rink, too.
40 minutes. Yeah. So it's not it's a tough morning.
Oh, no.
Texting my fellow coaches, like telling them what's going on. One of them, gratefully, it was super awesome of him. He came down, jump-started the car.
Oh, he drove down for you? He drove down?
Yeah, he drove down. Wow. It worked, then it didn't work, and then it worked again. And today I went in, got a new car battery.
Yep.
Which was expensive.
Run you a couple bucks.
And now here's where I'm really upset.
Uh-oh, let's get it.
I get back in the car after the new battery's been put in.
Doesn't start.
No, it starts, but it's like I just got a brand new car. My audio system doesn't work. My chair that I've been sitting in for 3.5 years.
Yeah.
I had the right settings. Lumbar support, good lumbar support.
Yeah, you need that.
The perfect air, the perfect tilt, the perfect distance from the wheel. Now it's like I'm laying in a lazy boy or something. I can't drive. I'm getting so upset. And I can't get my audio system to work. It says put in a 4-digit passcode.
What? I never even knew.
It's like put in a 4-digit passcode. I go back in there. The guy's like, that was quick. I was like, yeah, it says I need a 4-digit passcode. He's like, oh, yeah. He gives me a head shake. One of these, one of those, like that. He goes, you got to check the owner's manual.
Oh, no. Come on, dude.
I go, the owner's manual? He goes, yeah, the owner's manual. So I go into my glove compartment. I have the owner's manual. It's like 757 pages. I'm looking for a 4-letter combination.
It's in there? The code's in there?
Yes.
Oh, I thought maybe like the owner before you or something. Like,
no.
Said it.
Dude, so I'm flipping through this booklet. The guy from the shop gets in the passenger seat. So now we're both flipping through this booklet. And it results in we can't find it. So now I call the dealership.
Wait, time out. It has to be like if you're gonna have a 4-digit passcode on a car, that should be front page. Like as soon as you flip the front page, it's right there. Like
I was looking for a 0000 or a 1234. Yeah. But okay. Anyway, the guy comes in the front seat. We can't find it. I call the dealership in Florida. The dealership doesn't answer, of course, or they did. Then they put me on hold. Then it went like an hour. Didn't answer.
An hour?
So I decided to drop. It was close to it. It was like 30, 40 minutes. So now I'm getting real worked up. I just call my dad. I say, Dad, I'm not doing it. He goes, okay, I'll run by the dealership tomorrow. I'll ask. I'll go a day without audio. Not a big deal.
Right.
So I start searching online. One of the things says hold the audio button down for 2 seconds and it will automatically start the audio system.
Okay.
So on these new cars, they look like spaceships with all the buttons. Yeah. I don't know which one the audio button is. There's 3 of them that control the audio.
Right.
So I try one of them. It doesn't work. So I go, I'm convinced in my mind that was the audio button. Yeah. So I don't even try the other ones.
You didn't even try them?
No, it gets to it. It gets to it.
Oh my God, come on.
So now like 20 minutes goes by and I'm like, I'll just try the other ones. Hold the other one down. Boom, audio system's working again.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So everything's fine now. The lumbar support's back. The car's working great. Got a new battery. And then I went to Target where I saw some nonsense and now I'm doing the podcast. So it's been a great day.
Wow. I can't believe that they have like a passcode on a car audio. It's like not that serious of a system.
Ridiculous because the car was working and it seemed like a security thing. So I was like, if somebody steals my car, I think they're happy that they got the car. I don't think they care so much about the audio.
No, not one bit.
They're there.
First of all, usually when they steal cars, they steal them so they can go like do a hit on something and then they just drop it off at a random location. They don't give a rat's ass about your audio.
Yeah, no, ridiculous. So anyway, my day's going good now. Okay. Cars stuff all settled. How was your weekend? You went skiing, I saw. It was unreal.
Yeah, so I went. So one of my buddies from home who I used to play hockey with, he's a big time skier, and one of his brother's fiance's parents have 2 timeshares up at Snowbird, which is world class. Like the setup there is unbelievable. So we were fortunate enough to be able to stay in one of them because it wasn't being used. And then they were in the other one, and they were like the friendliest people ever, such great people. So I got up there Wednesday night. It was me, my friend, and then one of his other friends from college. And the one kid, I'll tell you about him, but so he's a snowboarder. My buddy's a skier. So I took day off on Thursday, went skiing all day. Then Friday I worked and then skied after, and then I skied all day Saturday. It was incredible up there, world class. Okay, so I have an app that can track, it tracks how much elevation you get in a day, tracks how many lifts you took, different runs you took. It tracks everything. It's like on GPS, and it tracks your top speed. What? Okay, so
wait, can I guess what your top speed was before you say it?
That's what I'm going to ask you. Okay, so if you had to guess what my top speed was, what do you think it would be?
Okay, so I'm going to do a little analysis here. This is like an interview question. Yep. If you're on a bicycle, you could get going without wind. At least I could probably get going, or somebody on the slower side could probably get going is what I'm getting at.
I thought you were calling yourself fast.
No. Somebody on the slower side could get between 15 and 20 miles an hour.
Dude, you can easily get over 20 miles an hour.
But that's why I said someone on the slower side.
Dude, 15? You can run 15 miles an hour.
Sorry. 19 to 24.
Okay,
there we go.
Okay, we'll go with that, sure.
So I'm going to say skiing after a fresh snow, good weather, 47 miles an hour.
Ooh, that's a pretty good guess. So it didn't snow pretty much all week this week, so it was all groomers. It wasn't icy, but it was firm. You could still,
Good fluff.
yeah, you could still catch your edges and stuff, but it wasn't too icy. So my top speed on the weekend was 49 miles an hour.
Oh wow,
And
that's fast.
yeah, think about it. If you're on highway,
Are you
like,
wearing a helmet? Are you wearing a
oh
helmet?
yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, good.
But so mine was 49. My buddy on skis was 52, and then the other kid on the snowboard was 54. And
Wow.
well, and because we were like up at the top and we were ripping black diamonds that were groomed, so with like minimal carving and stuff, just bombing them.
Wait, I have a question. I have a ski question.
Okay.
Like if you're like you sharpen your hockey skates, right? You'll go a little bit faster. Do they sharpen ski edges?
Yeah, yeah, they do because they're like metal edges on the outside,
Nice.
and then the
Okay.
core of it will be like some, I don't know, maybe like some poly something, polycore or whatever. But yeah, the edges are sharp, and you're supposed to get them sharpened like whatever. I don't know like how often, but yeah, and it does make a big difference. Like the way you can carve in and stuff definitely makes a big difference if they're sharp or not.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm
Yeah.
jealous. I saw you put up some Snapchat stories. One of the most beautiful mountain setups I've ever seen.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's
Well,
unreal.
the first time I went there and it snowed like right before I went, it absolutely ate me alive out there because there was just so much powder and stuff. My skis were too thin and I almost died at one point. Like I
Oh.
got caught in powder, like 2.5 feet powder by myself trying to find my friends. So
Wait, so you take off the skis at this point?
no, do not take your skis off. Leave them in.
Wait, but you're in 2.5 feet. Is that up to your like ankle, like
It's
your
like,
knee?
yeah, like high shin, bottom
Are
of
you
my knee.
moving at all, or are
I
you just stuck?
No, you gotta like you gotta like push through it.
Like
Yeah,
step?
you almost gotta step through, but you don't want to take your skis off because as soon as you do, like when you go to step, you just like you can't get any traction. There's nothing like below you. Your skis like kind of help you stay up on top of the snow a little bit. Where if you take it
Oh,
off, you just like stick your foot straight through and you can't push off of anything. Yeah, it gets
wow.
scary, dude.
Well, when I get out there
Yeah,
and we go skiing, I'm not looking to be in any situation
no,
where I'm like this. I'm
right,
looking to be with people
right.
on all four sides of me. I want people.
It's like
Like I
it's
want people like in front of me, behind me, to right and left, not too close, a good cushion of safety, maybe like 2, 3 car lengths
yeah.
on each side.
It's like when you go
But I
skydiving, you got to have the guy hold on tandem skydiving. You need tandem. You need to
yes.
be on
Like if
someone's back.
somebody I want the perfect distance to where if I go down
Yeah.
and you start laughing, I want a side skier to be able to yell, "You good, man?" Like as he
Right,
goes by,
right,
"You good, man?"
right.
Like one of those.
Well, I usually don't. Well, it depends, but I usually go in the trees by myself because it's not too bad in there. But this time, I just was happened to trying to meet my friends at a restaurant, and I just ended up in a bad spot because it was so deep and it was getting dicey.
Restaurant on in the mountain,
Yeah,
like at the top.
yes,
That's really
yeah.
cool.
So they have quite a few of them on. At least at Snowbird, they do. Other places they do too. So yeah, it was like mid mountain. Beers are like $17, but
Oh, I'm
supply
sure.
and
I'm sure,
demand,
but it's
supply and
unreal.
demand. Yeah, so it was a really fun weekend. Oh, so this kid that we go with, he used to compete snowboard like competitively, like tricks.
Okay.
Dude, he was throwing backflips like all over the place. And this
Good
one,
thing I didn't go.
me and my other buddy were just like standing like, holy shit, what is going on? But there was like this one like tippy top of the mountain, and there was a lot of people that were hitting these jumps, and they're like big jumps. People were throwing like backflips on skis and stuff. He threw like two huge backflips off these things. Like he's probably like 15 feet in the air, 20 feet in the air, just whipping them around. It was crazy to watch.
I find that so impressive. There was a kid that went to my high school was a wakeboarder, so
Yeah,
similar
right.
similar surface, and they like do like I don't know 180-degree twist or whatever that's called. It's
Dude,
so
like
impressive.
yeah.
I can barely do a somersault,
I know.
let let alone a backflip on water or snow.
It's
So
so crazy. Yeah, they were on at college actually. It was pretty cool. They were on the ski team, water
oh, that's
wakeboarding
cool.
and ski team. And it's like a club sport, so it's like it's fun, like they party and stuff there. But yeah, and then they would compete on the water, like skiing or wakeboarding competitions against other schools in
That's
Wisconsin.
unreal.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I didn't even know that was a thing.
I love it. I love you. All right, you want to get into the hockey talk for this
Yeah,
week?
so this one's gonna be a little current eventy,
Yeah.
because this just happened. So is it considered the 2022 or 2023 All-Star game?
2023.
Okay,
2023.
so the 2023 NHL All-Star and Skills Competition just happened this weekend in Florida. What's the town called? Is it
It was in Sunrise.
Sunrise?
I
Okay,
mean, the rink is
right,
in
right.
Sunrise.
So
So
at the Florida Panthers rink, give me your take on the skills competition because there's a lot of buzz going around the internet about this skills competition.
yeah, it was really cool. This was probably the coolest All-Star game for me in terms of watching because I'm a Panthers fan, and them having it at the Panthers rink was really cool. Just because I kind of knew the area, they did some outdoor stuff.
Right.
I think the color combinations they used this time around were like the coolest I've ever seen. That was
Those were cool. I
like,
like the baby
yeah,
blue and the pink. I thought that was good. It was Miami
kind of.
vibey.
It was kind of hard to watch because like the jerseys were like very light, but I guess the front had the black,
Right.
like the black
I
star.
didn't see the actual game because I was out skiing, but yeah, I watched some of the highlights. I was like, I couldn't even tell who was on what team.
Yeah, who's on what team?
Yeah.
Anyway, the I like the skills competition. The one thing I'm torn about, which I don't love, is give me that
I don't
face.
know. It wasn't that good.
No. The one thing that I didn't like was
Only one thing, huh?
I guess one event I
Okay,
didn't
okay,
like.
okay.
They don't do that many events anymore.
No.
But the thing that I didn't like was the breakaway challenge has turned into like shows.
Yeah.
Now, I liked I don't know, I was just watching a video. I want to say probably like 2016, 17 area when it was like actually who could come up with like the most creative skill. Like guys were like flicking it in the air or like
Right.
it was one shot. It was like 3 shots, red line,
Right.
you
Right.
go in on a breakaway. Like that was it.
Yeah.
Maybe you have a prop or something. But now they got like guys. I mean, Marner did a thing in a suit and then Kachuk did something. Like I don't know. It's cool. It is cool. But
dude, I didn't understand like why. Like they were doing skits beforehand too, like on the beach. Then they would come out and it would be like Subban interviewing them, like finding people, and like had like all these extra theatrics. It's like, and then they wouldn't even do anything cool. Like the move was not
the move, yeah,
was
wasn't
not
as good.
cool at all.
Yeah,
I
so
didn't
it is
get that.
I mean, it's creative, but I don't know.
I like.
I don't love that part of it.
So was the one that Zegras did? Was that last year when he was in the dodgeball
Yes.
uniform? His was actually sick. He like the blindfolded himself and like put the puck on his toe, and that was actually really cool. But yes, I agree. Like a couple of years ago, it was like mainly like an actual skills shootout, maybe with like a cool prop or whatever, like you said, or a cool like uniform or whatever. Like I know, remember Patrick Kane like put on a Superman, Superman costume, stuff like that. That's fine. But like these whole like shows and stuff really kind of bugged me. And then not do anything, and then not do anything cool too with your shot. Like Marner just shot it in his glove.
You know what I did love? You know what I did love was the Tendy tandem. I think they called it.
Yeah.
That was a very clever game. Like, dump it in. They try to shoot it down. Depending on where it lands, the other goalie's got to get a breakaway or 2-on-0 or 3-on. That was really cool.
Right. No, I thought that was. Wait, is that how they did it? 1-on-0, 2-on-0, 3. Wait, like depending on where the puck landed.
Yeah, if you miss the net, it was a 1-on-0.
Oh.
If you hit the net, 2-on-0. If it goes in that little tiny slot, which only one goalie did, I think.
Yeah,
3-on-0.
Yeah. Oh, I was like, why? I was so confused on why it'd be like a 1-on-0 like 5 times in a row because I didn't really have the volume on because we were hanging out and stuff because we were up at the resort. But okay, that makes sense. I did like that one. I just wish they would have tried a little bit harder the players in that event because it's not like you're doing anything like you know you don't have to give that much effort to like score on a goalie 3-on-0.
Yes.
You know,
I have an interesting one about a different event.
Okay. Well, hold on.
Fastest,
Wait.
Okay.
One more thing I want to get into before I forget it about the shootout or like the whatever the
Tendy tandem.
No, the show shootout.
Okay.
The short film shootout.
The breakaway challenge. That's not a breakaway.
Yeah. So
the movie challenge.
Yeah, exactly. Who can produce the best movie? The one thing that didn't make sense to me, well, there's a lot of things, but the one thing that didn't make sense to me is like Marner went right at the beginning of the show or the competition, and then they didn't have another one on for like another hour. And then like an hour. That I did not like that.
Wait, I gotta jump in with an answer to this. I think I know what happened.
They're trying to Try
So,
again.
well, on the broadcast, like they, how they switched to things that they did earlier in the day, like they did that golf thing
Right.
and that outdoor thing. I think while they were doing that on the broadcast, there was a concert going on in between, like Fall Out Boy did a concert or something in the middle of the skills competition.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
I think at
well,
least.
because I was thinking about that. I was like, there's no way they're making these guys sit in their gear for this long.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I think so.
and when they were cutting to those to the beach and all that, I figured that it wasn't live anymore, and it was like this actual skills competition was ahead of what
Oh, I
was
think so
on
too.
TV.
I think so too. But the only thing I was confused about with that was, what about the sports betting? Because you could bet on
Oh,
those,
you
like each
could.
of the
Oh,
yeah.
then
So
maybe
like
it wasn't.
if yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
We'll have to ask the producers.
yeah. I got his number. Um, oh, then maybe it was live the whole time. I just figured it wasn't because it was so long, and then they were cutting to like the beach and stuff.
Yeah, it could. I mean, they definitely cut to the beach and golf. That was filmed earlier in the day. Definitely,
Yeah, I didn't mind the beach one.
it was
I
cool.
thought that one was. I didn't see the golf one because we went down to the hot tub, but so I didn't see the golf one. But I thought the beach one was cool. I just don't think it's necessary to like actually put that in the All-Star game. Like, let's just keep it on the
Yeah,
ice, like those skills specifically. Maybe that is
yeah.
like a bonus type coverage thing.
Well, I think they kind of got away from some of the old events. Like
Mm.
there was an event where guys would race against each other. I just watched one where it was Phil Kessel versus Tyler
Oh,
Seguin.
where it was like they would come around the two and they would meet
Yeah,
coming down the middle, right? Yeah.
dangerous. It's
Oh, so
dangerous,
dangerous.
but I
Yes, I
liked. I
remember
mean,
that.
those are cool for the fans. I thought,
I thought so
and like
too.
around a lap. Like they did one where it was like around. I think
That's how they
Cam
should do it.
Ward
That's how they
raced
should
somebody.
do it. If they're gonna do like two at a time, they got to go on opposite sides, or else them coming
Yeah.
together in the middle is just not good.
Okay. Here's my bone to pick with another event.
Okay,
The fastest skater. The fastest
I
skater.
don't think anyone tried.
Well, okay. Well, here's why I don't think they're trying. They're not wearing helmets.
Right,
So no matter what, your time is going to be reduced because you're thinking like, oh my gosh, if I blow an edge, I'm not wearing a helmet.
right.
So dumb. Just put your helmet on. That's so dumb.
Hmm.
Two, the the things that line the boards, those
They're
cushions
like a
that
foot
they
off the
put out there,
ground.
they're only a foot off the ice. So if you like, I don't know if you watch Makar, like he
Yeah, his head was
fell
like
and
almost.
his head was
Yeah,
pretty close to that. I'm like,
right.
what are we doing? Like line the boards with like actual
I
cushions,
know.
put a helmet on, and like now we're gonna see who's fastest skater.
Right,
Like
right. Well,
I
also
don't
the
like
other
that.
thing is like, okay, if you're in the skills competition, right, you still have another full half of your season to go. Are you
Yep.
really gonna risk you getting the fastest skater award and like pull your
Nope.
hand because you know these guys probably didn't really warm up before this. They've been sitting
Nope.
down. They've been well, I guess was that the first event,
Yes, but still.
but then the finalists went later, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like you've been sitting now for an hour and a half, and now you expect me to go out there and skate full speed around the ice?
Yes.
Like the opportunity for injury it
It's
just
going up.
outweighs the me trying as hard as I can to win this.
Yeah. I'd say I guess though we didn't touch on one event. Also something. I mean, I said I liked it, and now I'm saying all the stuff
Dude,
that I
I
didn't
thought
like
to be
about
honest,
it.
like I would love to work with the NHL in the future and I think they do some great things, but that all-star skills competition sucked. It was
Okay,
terrible. It was
so you're pretty
terrible.
straightforward with this.
Yeah.
Here's what I didn't like: the accuracy shooting. You do this great thing, right? One at a time. It's easy to watch. The finals, Connor McDavid versus Nazem Kadri, they went at the same time.
I
Like,
know.
what are we doing? It's against the clock. Like, it doesn't matter.
Right. It should have just been against the clock. Also, what I was thinking too is a disadvantage is say you're on the right side and it could be a lefty. Now you're catching the puck across your body. Whereas if you're on your right
Yes,
side, you can catch and shoot right from there. So depending
yes.
on which side you're on too, could be an advantage or disadvantage for you.
And the poor guy passing in the corner.
Oh
Now
my
you're
God.
like in the corner. If they're shooting to that close side, I think I don't know who it was. Whoever was passing for Kadri almost
Yeah.
got hit with a puck.
We were saying that as soon as we saw that setup, even with the one where the net was in the middle and they were going once, like if that
Yeah,
puck hits off that post in any way, that's going straight at someone's head.
yeah,
That didn't make sense to
yeah.
me either.
But it was cool. I got Kachuk and Barkov, two Panthers, so it was cool watching them.
Yeah.
Kachuk MVP, go Panthers.
Yeah.
That was fun for me to
How was
watch. So
okay, so we covered the skills competition. We thought, I think, okay, so what do you recommend then that they do in the future? Because people, I mean, they got a lot of heat for that skills competition.
I would say we need helmets for the fastest skater. I said let's keep it on the ice. Let's keep everything on the ice, and let's get back to some like pure skills. Like let's do some stick handling, some agility. Like see what these guys are the best at. I do like the monetary incentive that they give. I think they get like $30,000 if they win an event.
Right, which I mean, especially for like how much they get paid
It
compared
keeps
to
them
other,
trying.
compared to other sports. Yeah, I really do think they should get back to the basics, like almost go back to the events like 15 years ago or whatever it is, and just do those events and like keep it quick. There's no need for the show to be 3 hours long.
No,
Make it an hour and a half. Let these guys get in, do their skills, have fun on the ice with their families
they
and
want to
stuff,
get
and
out.
then get out of there. They don't want to be on the ice for 3 hours, nor do the fans want to be in the rink or watching it on TV for that long.
No, they don't want. They want to be at the club. They're in Fort Lauderdale.
Right,
Let them go.
exactly. They're going to like Miami. I'm sure some of them had to have been lit up at that thing because like Pasternak and them were golfing earlier in the day, and you're telling me they didn't
No,
have
I'm
a couple
sure.
drinks.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, so I think they need to get back to the basics, which I could see them doing next year. Like, when like you can always tell like when a broadcast is aware that they did too much because then like the next year they'll like try to simplify
Yeah, they
it
changed
so
everything.
much. Yeah, it's like completely different.
It
Yeah.
wasn't. You know what though? I look at the whole. The games went pretty cool. So
Yeah,
I don't
so
know. It
so
was.
how I didn't see the game. So how would you think of like the actual game setup and stuff?
I would say I don't like how it's only one game for if you lose. Like they go semifinal, semifinal, final.
Right.
So you only got to see McDavid once because they lost.
Right.
So it's like I'd rather see in a perfect world, instead of the 3-on-3 format, I'd rather the 5-on-5 or 4-on-4 and just do two teams.
4-on-4 would be cool.
But I mean, McDavid's the best player in the world, and you only got to see him for I don't know what is it 2 11-minute periods or something like
Yeah,
that.
that's a very good point. That is a
Like
very
I'd
good
rather
point.
like either make it shorter and do like a round robin, or so you get to see them more.
Yeah.
But I mean, you only get to see one team of players. Maybe they do a consolation. I don't know, but still, that's only 2 games. I
Yeah,
think it was only
that's
3 games
tough.
total.
Yeah, that's tough. In terms of getting guys out there and having more opportunities to see players. I don't know what would be a good format in terms of getting guys more than one game potentially.
It was cool to see Ovechkin and Crosby connect for a couple goals, but even then, like
Haven't
it's
they
the
done
same
that
highlight.
before?
Yeah, they do it every year,
Right?
which is cool. I mean,
Yeah,
it's two best players,
right.
but I think that like if you had them out there more, then like
Yeah.
you get more highlights, like more stuff like
Right,
that, which is
right.
cool.
I like the 3-on-3 format. I think 4-on-4 would be pretty cool. You still get like
Yep.
I think the part about the 3-on-3 that's nice is like you get a little bit more scoring and like
Yeah.
breakaways and stuff like that. Once you get to 5-on-5, it's a little bit slower, harder
Yeah.
to create and stuff. You'll still get your chances because it's the All-Star game, but
Yeah.
I think 4-on-4 would actually be probably a perfect balance between the two.
Yeah, get more ice. It'd be cool. I don't know.
Right.
They used to do it. I was watching the highlights of other games.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be like a full-on 5-on-5 game.
Oh
Like
yeah.
guys are kind of going at it like pretty hard.
Well, it's kind of cool, like what baseball does, which it's kind of cool, but also kind of crappy at the same time. Is like whoever wins the All-Star game gets home field
Yep.
advantage in the World Series,
That's right.
which
That's
is
right.
cool because it like puts a little incentive in these guys to try,
Yeah.
especially if you're a top team or really anyone because it's only halfway through the year. But at the same time, it's like I just worked my whole year off and won 100 games or whatever, and I'm the best team in the whole uh, league, and now I don't even get home field advantage because of an All-Star game.
Because of an all-star
Yeah,
game.
right. That's got to piss people off. But at the same time, it is cool to like. I don't know how else you could give guys incentive to try harder out there.
No, I mean, the basketball one, I think they do a little bit more for charity,
Right.
right? Don't they do
Yeah.
like if you win the quarter, like they donate, maybe something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it would. Yeah, it would have to be something like that. I'm sure there's charity incentives involved in the NHL one, but it's not as pronounced as like the NBA one is.
Yeah,
But overall, it was the skills competition
enjoyable.
sucked. I guess the game
Yeah,
was enjoyable.
yeah.
Okay.
It is what it is. All-star game back to regular season tomorrow night. Quick turnaround for them.
That is a quick turnaround. Okay, so I got a question for you. If you were in the NHL and you had All-Star break and you were not in the All-Star game, where would you go for vacation?
depends if I had a family.
True. Yeah.
Like, I think that you're probably going to see your family if you don't live with them,
Mhm.
or maybe somewhere, if I'm playing in the cold, maybe somewhere like warm to like go golf or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. All these guys, like I saw a thing with like the Dallas Stars, like their social media was like asking guys where they were going for All-Star weekend, which is kind of, I didn't really, if I was a player, I'd be like, I don't want to answer that on
Yeah.
camera. Like, don't worry about it. But a
Yeah.
lot of them are going to like Cabo, stuff like that, which is understandable.
Yeah.
And,
They're pretty cool.
and I don't think there's like really enough time to like go to Europe,
No,
right? Like it's
no. I
pretty
think it's
much
only
like,
like 5 or 6 days.
right. It's like you got to go to Mexico or bust.
Yeah. Or like South Florida, or like, I
Right.
mean, I don't know, Arizona wouldn't be bad. Scottsdale or something like
Yeah,
that would be bad.
Scottsdale would be cool, actually. Yeah, that's true. Anywhere warm.
Or skiing, or to fix your car, like near you.
Yeah, just like us, all stars.
Yeah. Podcast All Stars.
Podcast all stars. Let's go. All right, so let's get into a little different type of hockey talk. So my mom actually, shout out my mom, she actually texted me after she listened to the last podcast, and she gave me this idea to talk about for us. And I think it's definitely an important topic because I went through this myself. I'm sure, as did you. Every player has to, pretty much. So, what do you think some parents' do's and don'ts are in regards to their player, like their son or daughter, and like their hockey career and their future as they progress?
That is a great shout out, Mrs. Spoons.
Yeah,
That is a great. She's gonna love that.
she is gonna love that.
That is a great one. I think that the number one thing out of everything is your child already has a coach.
Right.
Like, the last thing a kid needs, at least in my opinion, I was lucky. My parents were super supportive the whole time.
Yeah.
But the last thing a kid needs is another coach. Like, say the coach is saying, let's play this system. Maybe it's more of a passive system. And I
Right.
get in the car and my parent is down my neck saying, why were you so passive? It's like, whoa, this 11-year-old doesn't know what to say now.
Right. And now you're putting him in a weird spot of like, well, who do I actually listen to now?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. So I would say definitely one, they already have a coach. And I would say the second one is like, be supportive. Like, you are their parent,
Right.
not their hockey advisor / hockey guardian or whatever
Right.
people will guise that as now.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes after a bad game, you don't want to talk about hockey.
Yeah. Right. I think, yeah, that's huge. I remember sometimes I would not play very good, and my dad, shout out my dad. I mean, he was super supportive and like would do anything for me in my hockey career. And I mean, half the reason I got to that, like the level I was because he was there, like supporting me, like he was like setting up spring skates for me and stuff, or summer skates, so I could like constantly be getting better, like helping me find a gym and stuff. So like he did everything that he could have done to like help me progress. But then comes to a point where sometimes maybe you don't want to talk about hockey or like how you played that night or things you need to do differently. Sometimes it's better just to change the topic.
Yeah, I think it's always good. I mean, my parents did an awesome job of like finding the balance between like pushing me and supporting me. Like, there's
Right.
definitely at times like, hey, like, let's go do this. Like, let's go shoot pucks together. Let's do something like that. Like, my parents did an unreal job at that.
Right.
And I would say that the message to other parents is like, let's be supportive, not overly encouraging. I don't know if that's the right word, but like,
Yeah.
there's sometimes where you could like shadow it almost, like you're too involved. I think you gotta separate it.
Yeah, sometimes there's a fine line between like being hard on your kid and then like being hard on them in the correct way to like, motivate them or give them a little kick in the butt. But then there's other times where it's just like negative and condescending and like that's not helpful in any way.
Now, what's your biggest do or don't for a parent in the rink mid-game?
Oh my gosh. My biggest do is don't say a word. Just sit there and watch.
Yeah, just watch the game.
Just watch the game.
What about outfits? I got a good one for this.
Okay, so if I'm a dad and I'm at the rink and I'm watching a game, I mean, I'm not a big glove guy. I don't really, because then I like got to take them on.
Well, yeah, because you said you wanted. You said you know what? Would you get the Cheeto fingers from last episode? You got to leave those
You
gloves
would have
on.
to leave your gloves on. I'm good. I don't have to.
Yeah, you got to bring a water bottle though, because you got to peanut butter. Okay.
Oh my gosh. So I definitely wouldn't go with gloves because then I'd be like having to take them on and off. I think depends on the time of the year, but you can't go wrong with I think I'm a big hoodie guy. So I think I would
Yeah.
go with like a hoodie and then like a light jacket over it. And
Now here's why I ask that.
okay.
I went to a youth game the other week. There
I
was a
don't
youth game on the other sheet. I was watching a NCDC game, and on the other sheet there was a youth game.
yeah.
And I saw parents in a full, you would have thought they were going to an NFL game style outfit, pom poms,
No.
matching Bantam AAA
Yeah.
sweatpants, and the
Oh,
kid's number and
sweatpants?
name. The
Sweatpants?
kid's yes,
Oh.
yeah. The kid's matching number and name, like they're wearing like a t-shirt jersey that they bought on like Fanatics with the kids. They got like the dad has like a 8 shaved into the side of his head, like for the kid.
They got their
Like,
hair. They got the hair gel that is colored. It's like
yes.
blue for the
Yeah, but
boys.
no, I'm like, this is a little exaggeration, but I'm dead serious. Like this game had the parents were full on scream. Like this is a do not. This is the biggest don't ever. Support the kids. Like cheer for them when they score, clap. The other team scores, maybe clap too. Like they're 8 years old. Like
Right.
great.
Right.
But I do not need a full on Cornell style student section for the Bantam AA game going on at 11 o'clock in the morning.
There's some teams that like parents are like, well, a lot of the moms are into it, but there'll be like a group of like you'll see it on certain teams where like they are full go on the whole get up, like they got like
The
full
horns,
track suit on, like yeah, like you
the
said,
cowbell,
pom
like the
poms,
cowbells.
cowbells. Actually, so I'm not gonna lie, we on I think on one of me or my brother's teams, the parents did have cowbells, and I when you do score, it's kind of electric in there for
I was gonna say,
your
wait, wait, wait,
U12
wait. But
game.
there's no way.
It's kind of electric.
There's no way that Spoons, this is Jack's dad for people out there, that Spoons is rocking a cowbell. There's
No,
no way
dude.
he was
No,
rocking a
no.
cowbell.
Absolutely not, dude. Like I said, it was mainly moms who were into that type of stuff. You'll get the occasional dad, but for the most part, it's the moms with the cowbells and stuff. No, the classic dad in the corner, not saying much, having a little side talk with the other dads.
Yes.
But other than
I was gonna
that,
say that is acceptable. Like you always got like there seems to be a separation of the mom and dads at the youth game. Like some dads will stand in the corner maybe,
you have to, dude.
and then they try to like kind of mingle in with the scouts somehow. Scouts, whatever. I don't know. They're like kids are like 12,
Yeah, right.
but they kind of like mingle in that area.
Yeah. They
And
look
then
like scouts. They look
the
like a
moms
group
is
of scouts.
like, yeah, exactly. They got their iPads,
Yeah.
and then the moms are like it's like it
It's
looks
like a
like the
social event.
monarchy.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah,
like they're out for Sunday brunch.
and
Like,
they're all sharing the same blanket somehow. Like it's like a massive quilt, like
well,
with everybody's like t-shirts on it.
see what happens is one of them brings the blanket for them to sit on, right? Because you
Yes,
need one
cold bleachers.
because that metal gets cold. So there's
Yeah.
one for them to sit on, and now they have another one to lay across their legs, so they have to share.
So I would say do's. So recapping a little bit, do's and don'ts. Do support your kids. Do not be their coach.
Yeah, don't.
Do cheer for them at games, but do not act like you're at an NFL game, Patriots comeback or something like that.
It, look,
We don't need that.
it looks like it's homecoming. Like, yeah, did you ever have? I guess you didn't play football, but for football, we had homecoming for like youth football, and we would like come in like on a fire truck and stuff, and like
That's
run
cool.
through like the paper, break the paper, and like it was like a big deal weekend. And everyone's cars would be have balloons on them and stuff like that with all the painting, like homecoming, blah blah blah. And it was actually kind of cool. But that's what every game looks like for some of these teams.
Now, one of my coolest parent kid memories was me and two of my teammates, so 3 kids, played against 3 parents, my dad included, and 2 others, in a mini hockey tournament.
Oh, at a
Like a three
hotel.
on
At a
three
hotel.
in the
Oh,
hotel.
that would be
So
awesome.
I would say parents do encourage the mini hockey.
Oh yeah.
Do not punish them for having fun on the away trip.
Oh my gosh, some of the best memories I have, like in terms of hockey, would be on those road trips doing, dumb stuff as a kid, but it was fun to run around those hotels and maybe get into a little trouble. But
Oh,
those were some of the best. I love that.
do you have any other player or parent do's and don'ts?
It's tough because like each player is so different, right? And like their playing style is different. And even if you have two different kids, right? Like your one son or daughter might be this ultra skilled kid, and your other son might not be like that, but you still treat them the same. And that's not necessarily, how it should be done. Each kid is different, so you need to figure out what works for that kid, what motivates him. Because some kids, it might motivate them to kind of get on their butt a little bit and be a little bit harder on them. But for your other son or daughter, it might be the opposite of that. It might be he needs that support. He needs you to like build up his confidence for him to have, kind of that confidence to go out there and play. So it's really dependent on each player, but figure out what works for that kid and then try
Yeah.
to stick with that.
I would say in motivating them too, and this is an underrated one, let's not compare them to other players on the team.
Right.
For example, like if your kid is a left winger who is an elite player and has a bad 2-3 games, let's not say, well, Jimmy had 5 goals this weekend. It's
Right.
like, whoa. Like Jimmy is at a different peak in his roller coaster of a season.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be times where he's going to suck too.
Totally.
Not that your kid sucks at the time, but there's going to be times where his roller coaster goes down and your son's roller coaster is going to go up. We're not then saying, well, he's got 0 goals. Like, no, let's keep that out of the thing.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Or if your kid say your kid's not even one of the best players on the team, say he's one of the worst kids on the team, don't compare him to one of the best kids on the team, because that's not maybe how he plays, or it's not realistic for him right now at this moment in his career.
Yeah.
You never know. I've played with so many kids who were so much better than me in youth hockey, and they just slowly fade. But the reason I stuck with it is because I had supportive parents. My dad was always willing to push me to like bring me, and I shouldn't say my mom was always taking us to places. My dad was pushing to get us to the next level type thing. So we had super supportive parents. So you never know, like at a younger age, you got to be supportive and push them to be better, I guess, and not compare them to other kids, like you said.
Yeah, I would say it's important to remember, right? Like, not everybody is going to progress at the same level.
Right.
Like, this is more so for, I mean, we've talked about this for players before, but for parents too. Like, just because, I don't know, Becky's son or daughter is like way better than yours right now, like that's not a big issue, right? Like your son could peak in juniors, he could peak prior to juniors, he could peak as an 8-year-old, he could peak in college.
Yeah, especially
it doesn't matter.
Especially at younger ages, like their skill level at that point. I mean, it matters, but like wait 5 years down the road, and then you'll really see, kind of a
Well,
difference.
that's like, but I feel like I feel like the issue is at the young, like the issues at the young age.
No, I agree, 100%.
Like we'll be at like I don't know. We're going to talk about showcases in a second, but say you're at like a, I don't know, Detroit Warrior showcase. I don't know if that's still around. That was a thing for me. Like you'd go from Florida to Detroit. The Florida team's been playing against Florida teams this whole time. And now you're playing against Honey Baked. And there's a kid on Honey Baked with a full mustache, and he could bench press 475 as another 12-year-old.
Yeah, right.
Like that doesn't mean your son needs to go try to be like that. Maybe that's just developmentally how they are at this time, which really doesn't matter. Sorry, parents. Like you're 11.
No.
Like let's let them have fun and maybe go play another sport, which is a crazy concept at the same time, but it could be beneficial.
Yeah, no, I think the biggest thing is let them have fun, because at the end of the day, whether you make it to the NHL or you stop in high school or stop in 8th grade, it's at the end of the day, it's a sport and it's about having fun. Even though it can get to a point where it gets pretty serious, it's at the end of the day, you're playing a sport. So let's make sure to keep that in perspective.
I think the one area that could be reinforced by parents, and my parents did an awesome job at this, is like help your player help your child who happens to play hockey, not your player that happens to be a child.
Yeah.
Let's motivate them to keep their priorities straight, because some of those 11, 12-year-olds are going to start to get into like maybe hanging out past 11:30 at nighttime or not doing their homework on the road. Like we could be on our kids about, hey, we're going to do homework for an hour today. I don't care that it's a game day. We're going to do it. Because guess what? When you get to college, you're going to need that hour sometimes.
Yeah.
So let's be hard on our kids in that aspect and keeping their priorities straight, but not hard on them in terms of he needs to shoot pucks for 6 hours in a row until his arms fall off.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. My mom was really good about, because she's a teacher, so like she's all about school and stuff. She was really good about kind of education comes first, and then hockey and other sports come second. Like they're still important, but you have to be in good standing with the other things in your life that are important as well too. It's not just this one thing that we're going to go all in on.
Yeah, my coach in college used to say, if you take care of things in the classroom, you're going to take care of things on the ice. And I think that doesn't just go for college. That takes for squirts, peewees. Right. I don't care if it's a spelling test or math. Like it doesn't, like you take care of things in there, things are going to come a little bit easier on the ice for you.
I think it builds character too, like being able to having to manage, like, you know, keeping up with school and then going and playing a sport at night and then coming home and doing homework and doing other things like that instills like good character in you. And I think that carries through your whole life.
My parents listening are going to laugh. We used to have, I think it was Tuesdays, I don't know, maybe Wednesdays, math nights.
Oh,
like
no.
this was a post practice. So we're talking like 10 o'clock at night start time, probably 10 o'clock at start time.
Yeah.
It was like do questions 1 through 67 odds only. It's like, well, thanks. Like it's still a lot of math.
I hated to do the odds only, and it's like 50 questions.
Yeah, and then it's like thanks, teach, for giving me half of them off, but I still can't do it. It was like algebra 2, and we used to get in full on wars over how to do these problems and why I wasn't getting it. But anyway, those math nights did build some character, and I don't know.
Were you ripping the foil method?
First, outer, inner, last. Cross, multiply, and divide.
Right. Yeah. I'm a big math guy. Yeah. Things like that are they definitely help, and I think those are good things to instill in kids at a young age.
Yeah. So I would say, and now this will transition into our next part pretty well, is when you're talking about what to do as a parent, you can help support your child as they prep for a big showcase or a big event, which is what we're going to get into next in terms of, I got a big event coming up as a player, right? Let's pick like the U16 age. That's probably
right. That's the most, especially for showcases and stuff like that, those ages right in that age group are most.
So say I got a big showcase coming up. I'm a U16 player. We could talk about it. Let's say you're the average hockey player, because it's going to come easier for the All-Star, and you're not going to really be worrying about it if you're on the worst side of things. Let's say I'm the average hockey player. I'm preparing for a big showcase. Parents, we're supporting this kid in doing what? What would you say?
Well, me and my dad did a really good job of like doing this with me, like in terms of supporting me and like kind of figuring out like, okay, like what's going to be your next step to get you to the next level. Yeah. Right. So I guess during like my actual season of AAA, when I was going to showcases and stuff, I didn't do this, but I wish I would have. I wish I would have sat down with me and my dad or my mom too, but he has a little bit better grip on juniors and stuff. And kind of start figuring out like, okay, what is an attainable league for me? You know, maybe not next year, but maybe next year or maybe the following year. Like what are some attainable leagues that I, you know, might be ready for in a year or two, right? And start figuring out, kind of getting a feel for those different leagues and stuff. Cause like a lot of those teams are going to be at these showcases and stuff. Right.
Absolutely.
So I would first try to get a grip on like, okay, what's reasonable for me at that next level. And then from there, I would dive deeper into those leagues and maybe find some teams that I like for various reasons, whether it's like their commitments or like their record or their location, whatever it might be. Maybe it narrowed down to like 5 teams. And then honestly, at that age, it's U16, maybe like the U18 level. I would, if I'm going to the Bauer invite, pretty much every junior team is going to be there. I would shoot that coach an email and say, hey, like, I'm really interested in your team and maybe playing for you in the future. Here's my game schedule. Do you think you could take a look at me and give me some feedback on, you know, what you think are my skills or whatever? You know, try to get some feedback from someone at that next level who is making these decisions on players that they're going to take or not.
Yeah. I would also say this is a good thing that I'm going to subtract a little bit of time off the U16, because when I was in U16, I was already committed. So I wasn't doing a lot of reaching out at that point. Like I already had like the drafts were over.
Right.
So I kind of had an idea of where I was going. But prior to that, like I think this is sophomore year of high school, I was reaching out a lot, and credit to my parents for helping me with this, was like reaching out to different programs, sometimes as a youth player. So say I'm going to pick a random organization. Say you play for Detroit Bell Tire U16 and you're an elite player there. You may be able to message, and I think if the rules are still the same, which I think they are, you may be able to message, I don't know, Springfield Junior Blues, which that's where I played. Like you may be able to message them and say, hey, can I come practice with you guys for 3 days? And depending on what they say, they may let you. I think I did that a couple times with different programs, like trying to find a good junior location. In the years prior to U16, prior to the drafts, essentially. And you reach out to anybody, major junior. I reach out to some major junior, maybe some USHL North American League, even lower end, quote unquote, lower end junior hockey. Like you could reach out to them too and say, hey, can I practice for a couple days? And you never know what they're going to say.
Yeah, that's a good point. In terms of practicing, we had quite a few kids that would come and practice with us that were AAA. Now, usually if you're going for like the NA or like, I don't know how major junior works or USHL, but like usually those are higher end kids on their rosters, on these AAA rosters, right? So if you're one of those higher end kids and you're listening, like, hey, throw an email out to a coach and see if you can come out and practice them. That's a good point, because we did have quite a few of those who would do that with us.
Yeah, in doing that, and this is a cautionary message, in doing that, you need to be self-aware as a player. Like if you play for, I don't know, Bob's Burgers in wherever knows, and you're not going to go practice with the Madison Capitals. Like it's not going to happen. But if you're the second leading goal scorer on Bell Tire, okay, like your chances of going to practice with a USHL team are pretty high. But obviously that goes down and down and down. Like maybe the Bob's Burgers player can go find a team that he can go practice with. Like that's totally fine too. It's like not one size fits all.
Like a tier 3 team. Like if you have an honest conversation with yourself and you know that tier 3 might be the next level for you, that you're maybe not ready for tier 2 or tier 1, then why not go and practice with a team and get a feel for what it's like, and even you can get a feel for what that organization is like in general too. You know? Yeah, that's a really good point. So for you, what do you think if you're getting ready for a showcase like the Bauer Invite or like the Null Showcase? What do you think is like an important thing to kind of prepare for?
Yeah, I think two things to keep into consideration when you're preparing for these tournaments is, one, let's not base how I did that weekend off of my points, right? Because you could have a great weekend and not have a single point. So let's not leave that weekend and say, well, I was last in the tournament in scoring. Well, that doesn't mean that you were excellent, and that doesn't mean that you were horrible. Like let's base our performance off of knowing yourself as a player. So that's one thing. The second thing I would say is let's be very cautionary, and this kind of goes into what we talked about with the parents. Let's be very cautionary in comparing myself to people, when to do that and when not to do that. Like let's be realistic in saying, hey, there's another stay-at-home D. He's doing really well. What things can I learn from him? But if I'm a stay-at-home D now, I'm not going to go compare myself to the league, the tournament leading offensive defenseman. So I think those are mental things to prepare for in terms of how I'm going to measure my performance after one of these weekends, whether it be at Bauer or Detroit or something like that.
That's a really good point in terms of comparing yourself, because I remember when we would go, even just in normal games in juniors, but especially at like the showcase and stuff, when a lot of kids are getting pulled out of the locker room and stuff, like you would think that you would have had a better game than that kid, and this kid would get his name called on. You're like, what the hell? Like I thought I just played way better than him. So but at the end of the day, like you got to compare yourself to people in the correct way, in a healthy way, which is hard to do. It's really hard to do.
This would be a good message for a high school / like junior player, is like sometimes, especially when guys are getting called out of the room after games, that does not mean that that player was the best player in the game. That could just be what a certain school is looking for. Like, for example, if my team or a team is looking for a left-handed, smaller two-way defenseman, and that's the only left-handed, smaller two-way defenseman on your team, regardless of how he plays, hopefully it's on the better side, that he may be pulled out of the locker room because you need to talk to a bunch. You're not going to get all of them that you talk to.
Yeah, true.
So it's really dependent on what that school is looking for. You may not be, and I think we've talked about this before, you may not be
Yeah, with
They're
you.
fit
It
right
was with
now,
you.
and that's fine. Yeah, you may not be their fit at that time. That's fine.
Well, and the thing is too is like if say a player gets called out of the locker room or something, don't just look at that one game and be like, "Oh, I had a better game than him today." Be realistic and look at like, okay, maybe he's been playing consistent the whole year this type of game. And
Yeah,
that's what that school is looking for. So it makes sense
yeah,
for them to pull him out of the room instead of maybe
yeah,
just looking at the smaller picture.
yeah. So I guess recapping that a little bit, I would say number one, the first thing that first things that I had said was right mental preparation. How am I going to measure myself after the weekend? How
Mhm.
am I going to compare myself to other players? When's that going to be beneficial? When's that not going to be beneficial? And then we talked about parents, like supporting them through that. Did we cover anything else in there?
Reaching out to teams and stuff
Yes.
beforehand. But and,
Yeah.
and even if so, I'll say this too. Regardless of like reaching out to teams in general, I think it's so important to get feedback about your game from an outside source. So not your parents, or maybe not even your coach, because they might have this because you're around
Could
them
be
so
biased.
much,
Yeah.
right? So like getting an outside source to kind of give you some honest feedback about your game, maybe watching you over the weekend and not knowing too much about you as a person or player, I think could be really helpful. Now finding someone to give you that feedback might be a challenge, but I think that is an important thing that you could do to kind of get an honest picture about your game and stuff to see where you're at.
Yeah, you may have to send 20 emails to get one response. Like,
Right.
but if you got 0 responses, you're in the same spot you are right now. So that's
Right.
not a big deal at all.
I was thinking about this when we were prepping for the podcast in terms of like making a team, like whether it's double A, triple A, juniors, college, whatever it is, making a team or getting a job, all you need is one yes,
Yeah, you
right?
just
Like
need one.
all you need is one. You could get denied 1,000 times, but if one person says yes to you and takes a chance on you, well, there you go. You got what you were trying to aim for, you
I
know?
like that. I
Yeah.
like that a lot.
Well, yeah. I
All you
mean,
need is one yes.
you do because like when I was searching for jobs, I mean, I put in so many applications, didn't hear back from anyone, and then
Yeah.
now I have a job because I got a yes. So it's not like I
Yeah.
can't have 20 jobs. I can only have
Yeah.
one, really,
Yeah. Yeah. You can't play for 30 teams.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you only need one of them to say yes. So
Yeah.
keep that in mind.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Does that wrap up the prime hockey talk for today?
It does, it does. So we'll get into quickly here because we're coming up on our hour and we like to keep it right around an hour. So we'll top this cast off episode number 5 with a little question. I want to throw it at Fletcher first because he's probably got some wild
Ooh.
answer for this one. Who knows where he's going with this one? All right. So if you were to have dinner with a famous person for one night, a dinner, who would it be? And I'm going to throw in a twist. Where would it be?
Oh,
That
that's
wasn't.
good.
Yeah,
That's
you didn't know that one
good.
was coming.
I did not know that was coming. That kind of changes it.
It does.
I don't know. It's definitely an athlete. I had thought about this, or a coach of some sort. I don't know why I'm thinking of this one right now, but I watched an interview the other day of Coach K from Duke, the
Yeah.
men's basketball coach. He was talking about like leadership, and honestly, the interview wasn't great. Like the questions were kind of interesting, but I wanted to hear more about what he thought about that.
Yeah.
And he was kind of talking about like one and done. So I would say, as of right now, I would go with Coach K, the men's basketball coach from Duke. And where? Oh gosh, I don't know. Maybe somewhere like not too fancy, not too quick either.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
I
like
don't think he would like too fancy. I don't think he's
no.
like
I'm
that.
gonna go with River Roast from downtown Chicago, which is a restaurant that me and Jack and Jack's brother and friend went to probably what
Oh man,
2012. I don't know, 2013. No,
no,
2015 probably.
no, like 2018, 17. Yeah.
Okay, 17.
12,
We'll settle on 17.
2012. You were in like 7th grade, dude.
Okay, sorry. Can we erase that?
Okay. No. So River Roast with Coach K, huh?
Yeah.
What
It was
would
good.
be the first question you would ask him? Like you sit down, you
Well,
meet him.
I want him to elaborate. Oh, two things. I guess a funny answer and a not so funny answer. The not so funny answer would be I wanted to hear him talk more about the transfer portal because he was talking about like kids overcoming adversity when there wasn't a transfer portal versus how it is now,
Right. Easy.
and like
scapegoat.
a coach's ability to develop a player and like not fearing that they're going to leave.
Yeah.
So I would say I'd ask him about that, and then I would say the more funny one would be I'd want to hear more about like his time with Zion.
Okay.
Like I think I
Okay.
mean he was like dominant college basketball player. So
right.
I think
Or
I want to hear that.
or any other big time player like that. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
anybody.
that would be cool. Oh man.
RJ Barrett, wasn't he there? The guy in the Knicks?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he
Yeah, they
was.
were. Okay, so this is my initial answer just because like it's just off the top of my head. But who I would have dinner with would be Leonardo DiCaprio.
Ooh.
Mainly because I'm just fascinated by him and like his amazing skill to act. And one of the podcasts I listen to, Pete and Sebastian Show, shout out Sebastian Maniscalco, but they always talk about him and like they're funny about him. But he's just like so fascinating. Like he's done unreal movies. Has
What are your top three movies? DiCaprio movies.
Wolf of Wall Street's got to be number one.
Okay, interesting.
You don't think so?
I don't know. Is that his number one movie?
Dude, I think it has to be. He is unbelievable in that movie.
I really. I, it's gonna sound bad. I'm not gonna say it.
What?
I'm
Say
not
it.
gonna say
Say
it.
it. Say it. Say
I'm
it.
not
Say
gonna say
it.
it.
What are you gonna say?
Once I say it, it's out there forever. So I'm not saying it.
Come on, you're gonna say Titanic.
No,
You're gonna say Titanic.
no. I'm
Okay.
not gonna say Titanic. What's the movie where he fights the bear?
Revenant.
Yeah, Revenant. That was pretty good.
That is good. I've actually never seen the full thing, but it is good.
It's like 5 hours.
Yeah,
It's a
I
really
know.
long
That's the
movie.
problem I have with some of these movies. Have you ever watched The Irishman on Netflix?
No,
It's like
is
three
that
and a
one
half
good?
hours. It's with like
You ever
Robert
watch?
De Niro.
You ever watch Friday Night Lights on Netflix?
Yeah, great show. But the
I just
movie's
started
better.
that.
What do you think's better, the movie or the show? Have you
I
seen the
haven't
movie?
watched the movie. I haven't watched the movie.
What,
I'm on
dude?
episode 4 of the show.
Oh my gosh, you gotta watch the movie. One of the all-time greatest movies.
Oh,
It will
I gotta
fire
watch
you
the
up to go play high school football in Texas. Like you'll want to
Yeah,
go move to Texas and get back into high school and play football.
somehow get back into high school. I don't know if that's gonna work.
Yeah. All right, so I'll relay it back here or bring it back. The place I would go with him is I've never been here but I hear a lot of good things about it. Nobu Sushi. You ever heard of Nobu?
Yeah, why have I heard about that?
It's like a
It's
really well. I think it started off in California. Really exclusive like sushi place. Like to get a reservation there is really hard.
okay.
But now they have more of them. I think they have one in Chicago now. I'm sure they have one in Miami now. So I would go there one because it would be awesome to go there with him.
Well, hopefully the sushi there is better than the sushi place that me and you went to in Tampa. You remember that?
Oh my god, that was brutal. All you can eat though, dude.
Oh,
You can't beat
all you can eat, but it
It
tasted
was
like
bad.
fish,
Yeah, you
like
sent me a picture.
bad fish.
You sent me a picture of it the other day.
I did,
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
I?
yeah.
Oh,
Also,
it like
like
smelt too.
maybe I would change up my dinner answer and go
Smell like tuna.
private yacht in like the Mediterranean Sea with
It sounds like
Leonardo.
you. It sounds like you have a fascination with Leonardo.
Dude,
Like
he's
this
a
turned into yeah. But I said if you had to have dinner with one person, you turned this into a romantic date.
no, dude. When I okay, you want my honest answer? What I'm thinking is he's a pretty big like partier and stuff. So like if we're
Yeah,
gonna have dinner, let's do it big and let's party a little bit on the yacht too.
there we go.
So
Now we're fine again.
now
Now
he's
it's not a date.
like an A-list celebrity. We'd have that place popping. So
That
that's where I'm kind of headed with that.
that would be cool. That
Yeah.
would be really cool.
Yeah. So, but then I also think differently. I'd be like, maybe I would just try to have it with like some ultra famous rich guy, like tech guy, and maybe see if I can wiggle my way in
Wait,
his circle.
I
His
have a
circle.
good would you rather real quick.
Okay.
This was a debate. I wonder if anybody from my team is listening. This was a debate on my team in college. Would you rather be Jeff Bezos or Pitbull? This was the debate. Guys, okay, obviously, I
Ooh.
think I never gave an answer, and I'm not going to give an answer now. But people would argue, like, okay, if you're Bezos, you have a lot to worry about. You have a lot of money, and you got a lot to worry about.
Yep.
If you're Pitbull, you're just Mr. Worldwide. Like, you have no, you do your concerts and you party. Like, that's it.
No,
That was the debate.
dude. No, I think I would go Bezos. Dude,
You're going
I would
with those
just if
struggles.
I was him, I would just sell everything. Like
So
all stock I own. Like maybe not the stocks, but like I would sell like I don't even know how much he has of Amazon
and then you
anymore.
go
And like
skiing, and then you go skiing.
I don't know, I'd party probably pretty hard if I was him.
You'd party on a ski slope, so but you
Well,
get rid
well,
of
yeah.
the 2 foot snow.
What I would do is I
You would
would
have a
be
mountain with no 2 foot snow to get stuck in.
right, right. And I would have a heli following me around everywhere I go, just in case.
It would be pretty cool.
I
That would
would
be really
see.
cool.
I would like go snowboard or ski up in like Lake Tahoe. Then I'd rip my chopper down to LA or Malibu or something and be on the beach 2 hours later. I don't know.
would,
That's tough.
or you'd be in Miami, performing.
Right.
What is a good Pitbull song? Hotel Motel.
Hotel
Isn't that a
Motel.
song?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
What else? Fireball? No,
Yeah, it is.
Fireball.
Yeah. No,
Green Light.
he's
Come on,
so
these are bangers.
no, don't get me wrong. Pitbull, he kills it. But yeah, I guess it would be pretty fun to be Pitbull though too. But
Yeah.
I could go perform if I was Bezos too. Like I could just
You could do a TED Talk. You could do a TED
I
Talk.
could do a TED Talk. It wouldn't be as entertaining or as fun as probably doing a Pitbull show, but I could do a TED Talk.
You could buy, if you were Bezos though, or Pitbull, you could probably buy a youth hockey tournament and ban crazy parents.
No parents allowed.
No parents allowed. Maybe that's a safety thing though.
True. We don't want to get into that.
No, I think it's a good time to wrap it up.
Yeah, we're rambling here. Okay, so does this wrap it up for episode number 5 of the No One Told Me Hockey podcast?
This wraps up episode 5. Remember, everybody, go on TikTok and follow Jack at Hockey Aid. You get unreal hockey content. You get a little bit of podcast content and clips. Follow us on YouTube or subscribe to us on YouTube. Listen to us on our platforms. Tell your friends. Tell your family. And everybody have a great week.
Let's go. I just hit 8,000 followers too on TikTok, so that's cool.
Let's go.
We're getting.
They call you the Addison Ray of the hockey world.
That's what they're saying.
That's what I heard.
That's what they're saying.
I did hear that.
All right, this wraps it up. I will talk to you later, Fletcher. Episode number 5 and No One Told Me.
Love it. See ya.